Okay, 6th grade, here is the picture that I want you to make this week. A hiker and his dog setting out into a wild forest full of animals. How many wild animals can you see in the picture? Yes, it has a kind of cartoony feeling, this picture. They're not realistic animals, and they all have the same set of eyes. Even the person does too, and that gives it a sense of style. Okay, so the animals, the shape of their heads, the shape of their eyes, they all kind of it's like gives the picture a sort of a style. It's a black and white picture, but there's a great variation in tone. There's white, the whites of the eyes and the light part of the picture in the center, and then of course there's very dark areas too, and that's done with a marker and with pencil. Okay, so I'm going to take you through step by step how to make this picture. Hope you guys like it, hope you have fun, and of course when we're doing it, you can add in your own animals. Your trees can be slightly different shapes, all that kind of thing. It doesn't have to be exactly the same. You can make changes too. Alright, so let's get started. So the first thing that we're going to do is plan out some shapes and the basic kind of outlines for the drawing. The first one is the kind of opening to the forest. So we're going to have a kind of a flat line and then this sort of curving shape. Something like that. Okay, now we want to make a tree trunk here, and we're going to like kind of take that curving line and make it into part of the tree. So there's going to be a branch kind of going off that way, something like that. That's a pretty good tangle of trees and branches and things. And we'll of course add more detail than that as we go. The next thing though is to put in the animals. So let's have I'm going to have a bear hiding behind the tree here. So the eyes are very important because they're going to stand out in the shadows. Let's do a snake here. And of course we have to have an owl in the tree. Let's do another branch here. I want that owl to be right here. So just going to do another smaller branch. So those are all our wild animals in place. They're going to be kind of hidden in the shadows. And so now we're going to have our hiker, our person here. Finally, before we move to the next stage with markers, we're going to add in lots of smaller branches and leaves. Now that we know where the important part of the pictures are, the wild animals, the center part of the picture, the hiker and his dog, we can put in like just some branches here and there with some leaves on them, just to fill up some more of the spaces. So moving on to using the marker now, because it's so important that these eyes have got to stand out in the dark, I'm going to go around those eyes first to make sure that they are definitely going to be standing out really clearly. So I use this thinner marker so I can be most accurate. Okay, so I'm not going to do those eyes yet, just the ones of the wild animals in the background. Okay, now I have a thicker marker, and this is my double-ended marker. I'm going to use the thickest end, but I'm going to just carefully go around those eyes and fill in the rest of the bear. Now the next thing is going to be the large tree trunks, but they are not simply going to be black like the animals are. We're going to use this technique that creates the effect of light coming from the opening in the forest where our hiker and his dog are standing, and the light has got to look as if it's coming into this dark area of the forest. So what that means is kind of like half of the tree trunk. So I'm splitting this tree trunk in half, and then about half of this branch too, and same on this side. Something like that. And on this one too, we'll do this one in half. And I think that's good. Let's do it on this one too. And what that means is the half of the tree that's closest to the opening, so this one and this one, it's not going to be completely black. And then on this side, here and here, it's not going to be completely black either. I'm going to switch to the thinner marker for some details on the hiker and his dog. But it's not going to be as simple as just going around the outlines, okay? Okay, next we're bringing back the pencil. And for the last part of the drawing, I'm going to be using my 6B graphite stick. If you don't have one of these, you can use a regular pencil. Maybe you've got 2B or 4B, maybe 6B pencils, that's fine too. I just have this big graphite stick, and yeah, I'm going to finish the picture this way. but if you don't have one of these, just use the pencil still. So I went round the edges of the picture again with the graphite stick, pressing even harder to make it darker around the edges, so it's darkest with the pencil around the edges. And very light in the middle. Not completely white, I've shaded very lightly there. But you don't want to do too much shading so these figures still stand out. So you've got some really interesting contrasting tones there. So yeah, here it is, the finished picture. Hope you guys enjoy making this art for this week, and I look forward to seeing what you do.